Hello, I'm Shaun Ryder, and you're listening to Six Towns Radio.
6TR, the bright side of Staffordshire.
Black Grape are back with a brilliant new album, Pop Voodoo, and on the telephone right now, I've got Shaun Ryder to tell us more. Hello, Shaun.
Hello.
How are you doing, mate?
I'm great. How are you?
Fine. 20 years it's taken to release this album from the last album. You took your time a bit.
Yeah, I couldn't find Kermit. I was sort of going around looking for him, and then, I couldn't find him, so it took me 20 years. What it was we got back together doing a few shows, and then we got asked to write that European football thing with Oakenfold and Goldie, and we just thought, you know what, let's carry on writing stuff, so we did. And then I was supposed to be doing a Mondays album, and with the Mondays, it's a lot harder to get things together with the Mondays because there's like 6 people who have all got a say, where Black Grape, it's just me and Kermit. So instead of doing a Mondays album, we did a Black Grape album. And it's our best album. It's better than the first one.
Wow, that's a bold statement, Shaun, but I believe you. And the track, Everything You Know Is Wrong, that was released recently, is typical Shaun Ryder, typical Black Grape. The fans will be wanting more. It's got everything.
Well, that's not really a track, right? I was pretty sort of freaked out when the record company started using that as a little teaser because I thought, oh no, everyone's going to think it's another sort of Madness Amateur Night at the Apollo experimental album.
Yeah.
Because what it is really, it's a skit, like on an hip hop record, or it's just an intro, and we were secretly recorded talking about Trump, and then the next minute you say, listen to this, and then he's got a drum beat on it, and we went, oh, all right, then use it. So we just sort of, made it rhyme a bit and went with it. But it is an intro.
So a little skit that you did, but yeah, typical you.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just a natural thing, I mean, it's with this album, it's probably naturally how it would have gone, whether it was 20 years ago or now. And I'm not saying that it sounds dated because it doesn't. It's bang up to date, but it's sort of the natural way we was going. I mean, and with Youth, who produced it, when we was having meetings with Youth, and he's like, "What you're looking for?" So it was like, well, we want to sort of get hip-hop with the Beach Boys, the Bee Gees, and a bit of Motown bass lines. And that was the sort of, that was the idea. And I think we got it, although John Robb tells me you can't hear Beach Boys in it, but I can.
Youth has got a great pedigree, so he's bound to do a cracking job. Great to work with him, I bet. So the album, you've had quite a lot to write about. There's nothing content-wise we're short at the moment, is there?
No, we'd still write about the same stuff, anyhow. Really, that's on the news, or somebody's just walked in the studio and said. I mean, what we do when it comes to writing, Kermit will sort of walk around everywhere with his pad. I mean, we've sort of, I tried it with the phone, and recording things, and then I get back to beer mats and bits of paper. That's me. I'll scribble on anything, stick them in a teapot, and then when it's time to write, get them out and throw them on the table. And Kermit's got all his pad stuff, and then we'll just get beats up and start bouncing off each other. If we're coming up with a hook or a chorus or something, and then when we've got that, then we'll start going through all the great bits of paper and seeing what we've got to use for verses. But, we write about anything. I mean, usually sort of cartoon-like little movies.
Awesome. And you said that you were looking for Kermit earlier. How ready was he for this album?
No, he was good. I mean, he's in a great place. He really is. He just had his old pig's valve took out of his heart, and it was replaced with a new one. So that was a pretty serious operation, but he's brilliant. The guy's, in his 50s, and black don't crack. He still looks like 25. He really does.
He does. He looks great.
Yeah.
How long were you working on the album for?
Well, I think writing it, recording it, mixing it took us about 4 weeks. So really quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did a couple of weeks in Spain and a couple of weeks in London, at Youth's House in London and his studio in Spain. I mean, I really like writing quick, so does Kermit. I mean, the thing is, when you spend too long on stuff, and, you know, especially producers, if you spend too long on stuff, they'll start messing and changing that, and I do as well, you know, so it's always trust your first instinct. So if we've ever got anything and we sort of like the lyric or whatever, if you spend too long on it, you start changing it and messing about with it. So we like to get it out of the way quick.
If you're a perfectionist, you've got to learn to walk
it's hard
away.
To let it go, you know what I mean? I mean, if it was up to me, I'd still be working on our first album from 30 years ago. It's just you really do. You've got to go right. It's time. Let it go.
You're lucky to be in two influential bands. You mentioned the Mondays. Is the approach to working with each different?
I mean, Black Grape, it's so easy. I mean, it's just two of us. I mean, the Mondays now, right? We're playing better than ever. You know, we sound better than ever. It's you know, I mean, it was always a loose sort of band, and it looked like it, you know, loose and funky and maybe could fall to bits, but we've sort of perfected that, you know, now. I mean, you know, it's just really together, and everyone enjoys. I mean, when we were 25, 26 years ago, you know, whatever it was, you're on that sort of hamster wheel, that treadmill of albums, tours, and you can't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate it. I didn't appreciate the albums. It was like on to the next one, see if we can do something better. You know, and then not long ago, we took Bummed Out on tour, and I hadn't listened to that since 1988, so I had to learn it for the tour, and I thought, wow, lad, pat yourself on the back. That's a good album. And you just don't. I didn't, and I don't think the band did. We, you know, finished it, forget it, move on. You know, and it's like, wow, there's some good stuff there. You know, so now we really enjoy playing it, and I mean, the gigs are just great now. You know, we might be all this bunch of old fuckers in our 50s, but, you know, it is better than ever with the Mondays. But the Mondays, because these 6 big personalities in it, and then everyone's up to whatever they're doing, and, you know, and so it really is a bit harder to say, well, let's get together and do this, and let's get this date sorted out. Where Black Grape, it's just me and him, you know. The
stage show's going to be totally different. The Mondays is like a party on stage, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I've got him to bounce off as well, you know. We bounce off each other on the show, and I mean, you know, I'm always thinking, you know, should I really be jumping about on stage, you know what I mean? I'm 55, you know what I mean? But I can't help it with Black Grape.
Definitely not. If you pre-order the album from your website, is it true you could win a chance to have a pint with Shaun Ryder?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I thought it was sort of an afternoon pub lunch or something like that. You know, yeah. So yeah, that is true. Yeah.
It's worth entry just for that, then, definitely. Because I remember reading somewhere when you were 13, you had a pub lunch every day, and you used to go watch strippers and comedians in Manchester.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a bit mixed up there, right? Because when I was 13, I used to jump in a taxi, go off to the Golden Egg in Manchester, which Golden Egg was like a breakfast and dinner place that sold like beer, and. So, you know, we used to get away with getting served in there. But when I was 15, I was working as a messenger boy at the post office. When I was 13, I was on the building sites. But when I was 15, I was a messenger boy at the post office delivering telegrams. And in 1978, the set of Manchester was still pretty much like an episode of The Sweeney. You know, and then there was a Burning Man who did dinner time shows, and lots of the pubs had strippers on, and us just as a bunch of 15, 16-year-old kids delivering telegrams around town, you know, we'd stay in the boozer, get a few pints, watch the strippers, watch Burning Man, and then go and deliver another telegram.
How times have changed.
Yeah.
But I'm the same, I'm 45, I remember going to the pubs at dinner time. It's not the same culture anymore, and I suppose it's the same as the way people come out to gigs. It's something that people will buy the tickets months in advance to go see somebody, where before it was a couple of weeks before maybe, or on the night you go get some tickets.
Well, that's a weird one, though, with gigs as well. I mean, back in the day with us, I mean, it wasn't really making money out of gigs. You was doing it to promote your albums, you know, to catering and cost a fortune and everything else. And you're promoting your albums and sell a bit of merch. I mean, and kids nowadays, they won't pay for anything. You know, my lad laughs at me if I download something off iTunes or go and pay for a movie. He's like, oh, you dickhead, you ain't for nothing. No, it's like, but they won't pay for anything. But what they will pay for is going watching music, bands or whatever, DJs, or you know, going to festivals. And now, you know, as an artist, you actually get paid for that.
Yeah, when before it was promo, maybe, doing festival.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like you said, you're a family man, and I bet you have to go to a lot of gigs now with your kids that you wouldn't normally go to.
Well, do you know what? I do enjoy Little Mix and Miley Cyrus and Taylor Swift. And luckily, we was at the I still have trouble saying Ariana Grande. We was going to that one, and the only reason we didn't go, we had comp tickets, and the only reason we didn't go was because it was a really, really boiling hot evening, and the girls was playing on the field, and they didn't mind us. So me and the wife didn't say anything like, "Come on, let's go." We just let them forget about it because we didn't really want to go to town. Yeah. So we was very lucky. But yeah, I mean, we've been to Little Mix, you know, not about a couple of months before. That was our last outing, Little Mix, and the girls got to meet the band, you know.
Manchester's such an amazing place to be in a band still, but do you think it would have been the same for you, say, if you were brought up in Stoke, where I'm from?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, really. Whether it's Liverpool, Stoke, Manchester, Salford, you know, it's like, it was me, you know. I really didn't want to, you know, be at the post office for the rest of my life, you know. And when I was sacked at about the age of 19 or 20, you know, it was then that you know, I was going full time into music. You know, so I think wherever I'd have been, I'd have been doing that. You know, and all those places anyway have great little sort of music scenes going on. So I'd have been doing that anyway. I mean, Manchester actually, you know, I mean, it really took off again for us when, as we know, the Hacienda took off big and all the E scene started, and you know, and then with us lot as well, it was a case of it's not what you know, it's who you know. You know, I mean, us meeting Phil Sachs and then Phil Sachs' mates being Mike Pickering and Tony Wilson and Rob Gretton, that just, you know, put us, you know, next thing we're making records when we wasn't ready to make records. You know, so we was very lucky.
And that time as well, you were fusing dance and guitar music, which was not a thing really. And something else I read that you kept ditching stuff because you think it sounded like other things. So it was just trying to put that sound.
Was common, yeah. If we started sounding like any of our, you know, heroes, like Orange Juice or Bunnymen or whatever, New Order or anything, you know, we'd ditch it. But yeah. I mean, the dance thing anyway, I mean, but I mean, you've got to think of that in reality, you know. I grew up listening to Funkadelic and Parliament, you know, so that's rock guitars mixed with dance music, you know, so we just sort of, what's the word, regurgitates it, you know, robbed off everything and tried to make it our own.
Yeah, you're a very recognisable and famous guy. What is the most common thing people say when they meet you for the first time or bump into you?
Well, that just depends. I mean, now if I bump into, I can't say this too loud because I've got kids here. If I'm out and I bump into a load of 20-year-olds, it's, do you want a line? I'm like, go on, kid, give over. Oh, you want some of this? That's what happens to me. I go to the bog and 10 kids running out with packets of Charlie going, do you want some? No, leave it out, mate. Knock yourself out. I'm all right. I'm an old man now. Can't do it anymore.
One of the most famous TV moments of the 90s is with Black Grape, yourself on TFI Friday, doing Johnny Rotten.
Yeah.
Was any of that staged at all? Was there a production meeting?
No. I mean, I was off my nut, you know, and very excited. And Chris is a great guy, and I'd got him into trouble quite a few times with the swearing, you know. And each time, you know, he was fined like £100,000 every time I swore. And it was just, you know, I was just off my nut, and then I was being Johnny Rotten, and the next thing, you know, there's loads of F words coming out of my mouth, which I didn't even realise I'd done till we'd ended the song, and everyone's just like, you know, it's silent and everyone's looking at me with their mouths open.
Absolutely legendary TV. I still see it shared all over Facebook. People still talk about it. It was a great moment. And Shaun, it's been amazing talking to you. Absolute pleasure. Good luck with the album, the tour. We'll have to catch up again, but thank you very much.
No, great talking to you. It's been brilliant.
Brought back a few memories and a few flashbacks.
Yeah, well, yeah, I get a few of them.
I bet.
No, nice one, mate. Have a good day.
And you. Take care.
Cheers. Ta-da.
Bye.